Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to do quick thoughts for the weekend. There's still a few races to go, and I will keep an eye on them. But I just thought I'd get the video out a bit sooner this week. So let's have a look at some of the races and horses that caught my eye from the weekend. The first horse that I really feel has just been a little bit unlucky recently is a horse called Tronchi. He ran at Doncaster yesterday and finished third when he needs a horse to run behind, basically, for a lot of the race. And that looked like it was going to be Toronto and Firmament. Toronto missed the break and Firmament went on his own, which meant Tronchi was left on his own and had, all open space in front of him, which didn't suit him. I think the race will work out well, as Top Rated won the race, whilst my Nagme Firmament was second at a huge price. So just keep an eye on Tronchi for next year. 6.5 furlongs is probably his trip, but he can definitely win over 6 and 7 when he gets the right race, and it's run to suit. I don't think he's reached his limit yet. Over jumps, which I'm sure you're more interested in, quite a lot of you. One horse that definitely I think should make your Nagme is a horse called Mohayed. Now, if you don't already know about Mohayed, I'm quite a big fan of his. He finished 10th in the county hurdle last year after winning it in 2018 or 2017. When did he win it? March. 7th in a county there. Won it in 2018. I thought what was interesting yesterday is they stepped him up to 3 mile for the first time. Having been running over 2 and only once over 2.5, as you can see here, they went straight up to 3 mile. And he ran a great race to finish second to You Know What I Mean, Harry. Now, You Know What I Mean, Harry was obviously dropping significantly in the weights and was the best horse in the race on ability, or previously shown ability. Just needed to run in a handicap now, probably isn't good enough for graded races. I'll be very interested to see what mark they get from Mohayed. But that was a Pertemps qualifier, and if he's left on the same mark or goes up maybe £1 or just £2, I definitely recommend adding him to your Nagme, and he may even become a Pertemps Final selection at this early stage. He's 33 to 1 currently, and now that he's qualified, and if he doesn't go up too much in the handicap, I think it'd be very, very interesting. A lower level horse that caught my eye was this horse Camille. I think Camille may be coming down to a mark that he can win off soon. I say he, is it a he? It's not, it's a she, my apologies. That I think she can win off soon. If you watch her race at Kelso, now she was never going to beat the easy winner, but I was very disappointed by the ride, or potentially it was a very good ride. Nathan Moscrop did nothing. He hardly moved on her, and she finished third. He made no effort to battle for second. I think they knew that they couldn't win the race and didn't go for it. So just keep an eye on Camille, maybe in the next couple of runs. Maybe it wants a bit softer ground, and they might be waiting for that before really going for it. I thought Solo ran a good race at Wincanton, would surely be going over fences now, and the 4-year-old record over fences is really starting to be noticed by quite a few people, and there's one we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video that is a horse to follow. There'll be no issues with him going over fences. I thought he hurdled really well, just didn't pick up at a crucial stage. So keep your eye on Solo when he goes over fences. I think he could be very smart. So Royale has completely ruined our idea. Look at this long-term plan. Grand Annual 2021. Nah. He's dropped to hurdles. He wins the Welsh Champion hurdle. He now wins I can't think what that's called. Is it Elite Hurdle? Yeah, the Unibet Elite Hurdle. I think he's now going for the Greatwood Hurdle, and he's ruined that plan. But it just shows that we did spot something that was ahead of its mark and would be useful as soon as they got things right for him. Back on the flat, Raymond Tusk. Raymond Tusk has run a great race for 6th, in my opinion, over a trip that is too short. He was my horse to follow this year with the Ebor in mind. Put him back in your Nagme for the Ebor of 2021. The 6th, I can't see him moving in his handicap mark. He may drop £1. When he goes back over his 1 mile 6 trip, I think he's very, very good, and he'll be aimed at the Ebor for next season. El Presente actually made my Nagme back here after the Huntingdon run when he was 4th in a novice chase. Now, one thing that people seem to do, and I really try and encourage you not to do, don't give up on my Nagmies after their first run. He unseated. He went off 5-2 favourite, 11-4 favourite, sorry, for almost like the B version of the Badger Ales, and he unseated. He then pulled up at Huntingdon when he was dropped in trip, ridiculously in trip and on heavy going. Since then, back over more suitable distances and on good ground, he's finished first, third, first, including winning 11-1 or 16.81 on the exchanges yesterday in the Badger Ales. Really impressed with that. He can still go a little bit further, but it's great to see that a horse I highlighted has won 4 of his last 5 races, and he's now 4 from 7 since highlighting him as a Nagme. One horse that I do think you should put in your Nagme is My Way. My Way didn't stay the 3 mile 1, having been taken on by Sizing Midnight for a little while before that horse unfortunately fell. He's emptied out late on to finish 4th. Where could he go? Well, there's a 3 mile handicap chase at Kempton. We know he's got good form at Kempton. He's finished 2nd, and he's also finished 6th, but that was in a decent handicap. When he was 2nd back here, he beat Burrows Edge. Have to get them right. There's Burrows Edge and Burrows Park. Let me just check I've said the right one. Who went on to win the Lanzarote Hurdle, Burrows Edge, whilst the winner was Wicked Willie, who was actually on Nagme at that point. So I was very impressed with that form. There's one on the 27th of December at Kempton that My Way could run in, but there's also it's formerly been like the Bet Bright Chase or the Betway Handicap Chase at Kempton in February over 3 mile, and I think that might be where they'll aim My Way. Kitty's Light was also from the Badger Ales and has run an absolute screamer. He is 4 years old, and he's running over 3 mile, stamina trips, and he got hampered, and he just looked outpaced early on. Didn't jump great early, but will definitely improve for more experience. They could go for the Welsh National. It's Christian Williams. They could go for the Welsh National this year, or they could be, next year, the year after, the year after. You could see it in 4 years' time. 2024 Welsh National. Kitty's Light could still be running it and would only be 8. That's crazy. I think he is one to very much keep on side and remember the name, because I think he's going to be a very useful staying handicap chaser. On to today, a horse that caught my eye a little bit was Wide Receiver. I thought it was an interesting run today. I didn't think the jockey, let me just find out who the jockey was, Mark Walsh, I didn't think Mark made much of an effort aboard Wide Receiver until their other Gigginstown horse started to drop back at the last. As soon as that happened, Mark got animated and has ran on reasonably well for 3rd in a race that last year saw Abracadabras beat Latest Exhibition, 2nd in the Supreme Novice, beat 2nd in the Albert Bartlett. Well, that's really strong form. And whilst Wide Receiver didn't finish 1st or 2nd, he finished 3rd. Just keep an eye on him for a handicap. I bet they turn up in a handicap somewhere, and he would not surprise me if he can win a decent handicap when they're possibly going for it a little bit more. One of our Nagmies that I want to reiterate the case for, Relegate. She finished 4th today in the Lismullen Hurdle, where top-rated side Burley won the race. I thought she was given a good ride, held up at the back. She was always niggled along. 2.5 mile isn't her trip. She wants 3 mile. But she stayed on quite nicely for a never nearer, never involved, never really seen 4th. Obviously, we want her for the Pertemps Final. Hopefully they can find her a qualifier now, that she can do a similar effort. I'd like to see her, if there is a qualifier over 2.5, 2.6, find that one. Don't go for the 3 miler. Find a qualifier over just short of optimum trip. Run on strongly, finish 4th, then turn up at the Cheltenham Festival. If they do want to go for this February one, absolutely fine. But I think after today, I was very keen on her again for the Pertemps Final if they can get her qualified. Phlegmatic finished 5th today on over fences at Sandown. I thought it was a good run. Top rated actually won the race, Severano, and I think that's quite a strong bit of form. Whereas Phlegmatic, nothing went right for him. He got hampered a couple of times. He made a couple of mistakes. 5th totally underestimates him, and he's one that I think can certainly improve for that run. Obviously, Dan and Harry Skelton have got a good record in the likes of the Paddy Power Gold Cup. They've had horses like Spirit of the Games run really well and win a couple of those. Same colours, same owner. That's one that I think they could be targeting in at the end of this season, or potentially next season. But he's definitely worth keeping an eye on for 2.5 mile handicap chases. I don't think he did anything wrong really. Nothing went right for him. Finally, what a result that was for Ronan McNally in the Troy Town Chase. Won by 18 lengths. He was my nap of the day. Why was he my nap of the day? I highlighted him back here on Monday, 2nd of November. The Jam Man, top rated in the November handicap on the flat and ace, or clear top rated in the Troy Town. Liked by Graham Sherburn, but interestingly, Ronan McNally followed me straight after I tweeted this, which I thought was very interesting. Absolutely dotted up today. He's going to go up way, loads in the handicap, but we were on at the right time, and I was delighted with that. We got a decent price on him earlier this week. That's just to say, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @RTR_Liam, and also follow at RatingTheRaces.com, at RatingTheRaces on Twitter, where we do highlight horses ahead of time sometimes in decent races, and we can find some nice price winners for you. So there's just a few horses that you want to keep an eye on over the next few weeks and months. Probably if I was to pick out a few, I was very impressed with Mahayed for the Pertemps Final and Relegate. If they both turned up, I would be very keen on them both. My way, I think Kempton race will be perfect. Kitty's Light is a horse to really follow over staying handicap chases for the next 2, 3, 4 years. Wide Receiver, just a quiet one for a handicap somewhere. Phlegmatic is better than what he showed today. And Solo, I'm looking forward to seeing Solo over fences. So that's my quickfire thoughts for the weekend. Thanks for listening. I will post a few more on Twitter if I see anything a little bit later from the last few races of the day. Cheers guys for listening. As always, feedback, any thoughts or any suggestions, please do let me know.